Hi, Paul, and welcome to Entrepreneurcast. Thanks for sparing a few minutes of your time with us today.
My
So,
pleasure.
Paul, before we get on with the business side of things, tell us a little bit about who are you outside of your business and what do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
All right. Outside of my business, I'm just a kind of regular guy in living in suburbia in Liverpool, which is my hometown. I'm a granddad, a new granddad. I do a part-time work. Okay, so that's by choice. What I do now is my own thing, part-time. What I love doing. So outside, and I do that so I can have a life. And outside of that, I'm particularly active in the recovery community. I play a bit of music. I like to do kind of creative stuff. I like to relax and enjoy a bit of the world and a bit of life. I like to travel. I like drinking coffee. I go to gym. I've finally, at 46, have decided that I know what life is about for me. And it's all that normal, really good, ordinary, great stuff. That's who I am.
So, what about the business side of things? What is your business about, and what inspired you to start it?
Well, my business effectively is sales coaching. That's what you'd know it as. That's what, if anyone arrived on any of my sites or whatever, that's what they'd see, right? So I'm this guy that coaches people on how to sell stuff. Okay, that's kind of the headline. But what's it really about? And that's best answered by what inspired me. I'm from a corporate career, right? So, when I was younger, in my late teens, I was very much kind of entrepreneurial in my attitude, but I ended up going into the corporate world. Okay. I discovered I was really good at selling, and so did the people I was working for. It was fantastic in every possible imaginable way in terms of all the material success and all the rest of it, but it was also a nightmare in every imaginable way for someone like me. And after 25 years of it, and achieving everything I ever thought I wanted in that world, I was left very empty. I was left with everything I'd achieved not having worked in terms of fulfillment. It kind of dawned on me that I had fallen for the wrong dream. I had fallen for the wrong game. For me, not the wrong game for other people, but for me, I had sacrificed, a quarter of a century pursuing somebody else's dream. So, it was a case for me of, right, what do I want to do with my life? And I looked at a number of things. I took a lot of time to reflect on what I could do, what I wanted to do, what I was good at. And what I wanted to do was lots of things, but what I was good at was only a few things, like most people. I read a lot and I listened to a lot of wisdom from various people in the world. And it was clear to me that what I was good at was something to do with communication. Right, whether it's called sales or anything, something to do with communication and energy and passion and creating. Right, it was something to do with that. And I thought, right, look, I'm going to implement now and perfect later. I want to get started doing something for me. Whatever it brings, materially or success or whatever, that's fine. But I want to just get started doing something that I love doing. So I'll start by doing some sales stuff and let's see where it goes. And that was the beginning. The inspiration therefore behind that story, Svietlana, was it was enough. Enough was enough of trying to live my life by what I felt I should do in the world, the roles, the role models, the beliefs, the paradigms that I'd bought into when I was a young man. They weren't satisfactory. They weren't satisfying to me on a deep level. I've been through a lot in my life, made a lot of mistakes, had incredible highs, incredible lows, and it was now time to live life for to find my truth, actually. And the business came out of that. And then what evolved very shortly after, almost immediately I started, because I started without fear. This is really quite kind of profound, and I didn't plan it this way. This is just what happened. Is because I started from a position of trying to find purpose and doing what felt right instead of doing what I was thinking could be right. Or in terms of, because I wasn't working from fear or trying to think how could I make money. So a thinking kind of philosophy. It was based on feeling. And because of that, a whole bunch of serendipity happened. A lot of new people came in my life down in London in the entrepreneur community. And this this period of 3 months evolved where I was involved with a community down in London, Carl Pearsall's Yes Group community, and some other people around that community. And we combined, it happened, as I say, serendipitously, we combined sales training with personal development and spirituality. And we put together some seminars and we allowed that fusion to take shape. And what came out of it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Not in terms of world success or anything like that, because that wasn't the purpose. But what came out of it was that a small group of people were transformed at a very deep level about what they wanted to do with their lives. And they were so typical of today's entrepreneur who wants to get a lifestyle business doing what they love. And it was the right place at the right time for those people. It helped them incredibly well. It helped me, and it defined the purpose of the business. So I hope that's a long-winded answer, isn't it?
A lot of people are scared of sales and they say that they actually hate it. Do you enjoy selling?
I do. I love it. Let's look at that. Let's just look at the words. Okay. So selling, what we're doing is it's about communication, right? It's something to do with communication. Yeah, that's what sales is. It's perhaps something to do with persuasion. It's something to do with inspiration. It's something to do with influence. It helps make the money go round and all that kind of thing. So it's all of those things. But at its root, it's about communication. It's about transferring of energy. It's about transferring of ideas and enthusiasm from one person to another to try and add value to the world. That's ultimately what it is. I've got something you are missing, right? I have the resources that you don't have. You have the resources that I don't have. If money wasn't in existence, we would trade those resources, and I'd have more value show up in my life for what you give me that I haven't got, and you'd have more show up in your life. Magnify that by society and you have utopia, right? In theory. Making sense? Because money is involved, it becomes a different kind of game. And then it becomes all complicated and very intellectual, and it's commented on. It becomes this huge, overgrown kind of theoretical game. But ultimately, what it's about is emotion transfer. It's about energy transfer. It's about the fusion of ideas from one person to another. It's very energetic. And I don't think people are afraid of that. What they're afraid of is they're afraid of being rejected. They're afraid of, at a deep level, of somebody saying, no, I won't give you any money, which therefore infers that I've failed, and also may infer that I'm no good, and also may infer that I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm inferior, that I'm a failure. There's so much fear around the subject of selling, for the reasons I've said, that people approach it from a position of fear, because the kind of psychology for most people is, I have to persuade you to do something against your will. I have to win, you have to lose. And if you get in the way of that and you catch me out on my game, then I fail and you don't buy. And therefore it becomes like a game of chess, a psychological game of chess. That's not what it's about at all. That's not what sales is about. And the whole idea of stressless sales is to strip away all of this perception and strip away these misconceptions and bring it back to what it really is about, which is, look, if you will just bring your biggest game, if you will just bring your energy around what you're passionate about, around what you can bring to somebody else to give them value that they cannot get through their own resources, if you can do that, and they are the kind of person that you can help, and they have problems that you can solve in a very unique way, then they want and need it, and then they should have it. And if resources are an issue and you've got to work something out financially, then that's the game. That's the game we live in. And once we begin to move from that mental paradigm, everything becomes less stressful, because it's not about I must be really good at this in order to reinforce my identity as worthwhile, as being a worthwhile individual. It's not. And one other thing is that the perception is that I must sell to my product, I must sell my stuff to everyone who needs it. And that's not true. It's not true at all. There are millions of people in the world that need sales training, okay? But millions of them don't come to me for sales training, even though they need it, okay? Because I'm not for them. Somebody else is. There's a very specific kind of person that gets life-changing value from me. Very specific kind of person. And that's for good reason. They need to believe what I believe. They need to have some challenges in their life which I have overcome. They need to have some real synergy with me on a deep level, where we have been through the same life experiences or can relate to each other. And only then can the transformations take place. And everybody's like that. Whatever your product is or whatever your service is, there's a small group of people that absolutely are your clients. They're the ones that you are here for, you exist for. You focus on those people. You focus on reaching those people who believe what you believe. They're yours. Try and convince the ones who don't believe what you believe, the ones that just happen to need what you... It's too hard. And that's what most people think they have to do. Everyone who needs my product has to buy it. No. It's not product. It's about the people who believe what you believe, the values you share. They'll migrate to you, and then you can solve the problems. Does that make sense?
Of course, you always need to have something in common with the other person,
Yeah.
and to have that energy flow, really. So yeah.
But it has to be at the belief level. It can't be just have things in common, like we went to the same school, or we like the same music. It has to be at the level of belief around purpose, around truth, the unspoken stuff.
Yeah.
And once you realize that there's something like that going on, then there's trust. And when there's trust, then there's a foundation for transformation. At a deep and permanent level, because so much coaching, as well as I do, so much training, coaching, mentoring, where people are saying they can grow other people. So much of it is superficial. So much of it is packaged and reprocessed, and it is superficial, and it either does not work at all or only works for a very short space of time.
So Paul, as entrepreneur and business owner, we all go through a lot of challenges on our entrepreneurial journey. What would you say was your greatest challenge, and how did you manage to overcome it?
I've had loads, as most people have. Most people have had stuff, real stuff happen, real life. If you stay around long enough, right? If you're really young and getting into your own business at 16, 17, and you haven't had a tough time, well, just hang around for a bit, right? Because it's coming. And that's what you need in life as well. So what have been the toughest challenges? I guess it's really in the story of what I briefly covered earlier. And that is that at a very early age in the 80s, buying into a false paradigm ultimately shaped my destiny. And for 25 years, I worked through the filter, the filter of belief that I must be successful financially and materially in order to be happy, in order to be worthwhile in society. So I have to have all the financial trappings. I have to have a lot of money. I have to have the cars. I have to have the clothes, the jewelry, the this, the that, the wife, the children, the house, the holidays. It all has to look amazing, and then that's fulfillment. I have to climb the ladder to be the highest, the boss of lots of people. I have to have this, this elevated status in a community, and power and all that kind of stuff. And it was very, very extreme with me, that paradigm I bought into, so much so that it became toxic at a real deep level. And it was then all that I was interested in. So everything in life everything was an object, including people. And ultimately, even my family, it was all right. Tick the box, house, wife, kids, this. And, I did not know how to stop and enjoy what was in my life, because it was just ticking a box and what was next, what was next, what was next. Success was always in the future. Fulfillment was always in the future. It was never here. And that was deeply dissatisfying. But I did not know any other way to exist. Consequently, inevitably, something gives. And for me, it was addiction. It was alcohol addiction. And, it was very slow and very sure. And over a period of years, it led me from being great success, as I thought, to literally losing everything, feeling suicidal, and not really having any cares whatsoever around me personally, because this life I'd built wasn't satisfying. And it became life-threatening, and that was, it sounds very heavy, but it was how it was. That was the biggest challenge. That has constantly been with me again and again, as I've started to live more and more by truth, and started to live more and more by what really counts for me, and searching for what really matters in terms of purpose. So it's been like the biggest challenge and the biggest handicap and the biggest, personal life challenge, but it's also been the thing that has most freed me. It's almost like sometimes out of desperation, sometimes out of the worst circumstances, a real opportunity can come, real awakenings can come. And that's what's happened. How does that relate to business? Well, once I had come through that, nothing else was going to scare me. I don't mean that from the point of view of trying to be a smart ass, but actually there is nothing once you have been in a situation where you've pinned all of your beliefs in life on a certain strategy and a certain set of results, and when you have achieved all of that and it does not satisfy, and you are left emptier than anything, and you really seriously are contemplating whether there is any point to this existence or not. When you reach that stage and get through the other side, nothing can scare you. No failure, no concepts of failure, no concepts of people not liking you, or financial, or will this work or that work. Nothing can truly threaten. And that's been the biggest revelation. Because when you are then living from love, which is what is true to you, what is really true to you at a deep level, when you're living from that and pure creation and allowing serendipity to play a role, when you're living from that rather than fear, the stuff that happens is beyond what you could make up. It's beyond fiction.
This is really deep.
Yeah, and you did ask the question, but that's the truth. That is the reality of it. That's been the biggest challenge, and consequently, as a result of that, the kind of people that, just coming back to what I said earlier, the kind of people that I work with, who inspire me, are people who have had either similar challenges in circumstances or similar challenges in feelings. So similar journeys, whether the story is completely different, but the feelings are the same. Yes. And actually, when you look at it, the stories may be completely different, but the emotional journey is a path that many, many people have trodden or are treading right now, but don't talk about. It's not discussed.
That's true.
And then when it gets discussed and these things are resolved, then things like starting your own business and living from love instead of fear, and being able to sell without fear, by bringing your biggest game and being completely playful and never being bothered if anyone rejects you, that is the congruent outcome of resolving these kind of issues on a deeper level.
So how did you overcome it? And was it like an instant thing, or was it gradual? How the whole thing sort of, turned around for you?
Like all these things, it was about getting help. It was number one about actually, and this is about business as well. It's not just about a personal life struggle. So it's firstly about acceptance. Look, the old beliefs that I have that brought me to here, the beliefs on which I've lived my life, my business life, my entrepreneurial life, my personal life, my spiritual life, my private life, all of those beliefs that I've set up my life based on, they may have been good success strategies at once, or survival strategies at one stage. But right now, they're not working anymore. The stuff that I want to show up in my life is not showing up. Other stuff is pain, fear, all of that kind of thing, failure, financial problems, depression, addiction, weight gain, lack of self-belief, lack of confidence, feeling like a fake. All of these things is what manifest when your old beliefs are no longer working for you, but you're just trying to crack on regardless. You're just trying to put the brave face on and tell the world everything is fine when it isn't. First thing is acceptance. Once we then accept that, that's a real kind of pivotal moment. And then it's a case of, right, how do I move forward? Who else has been here? And what did they do? Who knows more than I do about being able to deal with this stuff? And then it's about getting help, whatever the stuff is. Okay, whatever that you're lacking in life, or in the entrepreneurial stage that you're at, or wherever you are, it's about finding other people who have overcome the stuff that you are dealing with. And there is no shortage in the world. So it's about getting help is step number 2. Getting help from people who have overcome the very challenges that you have. And then number 3 is not expecting it to be instant. It is only a day-to-day, one day at a time journey. That's all it can be. So then you have to be actually really honest with yourself around all the stuff that's out there, self-development and all the rest of it, and visualization and goal setting. You know, it really is about steps, day-to-day steps of bringing into your life and bringing into existence a new paradigm, structure, belief for living that then starts to bring the things that you want to show up in your life into your life. So it can only be one day at a time, and it is never finished.
So, Paul, you already touched on that the people that inspire you with a similar story. Are there any live examples you can bring? Who inspires you? Are there any specific people?
I've got loads of specific people who, many of which you and I would know. Okay, so people just like us, those are the people that inspire me the most. Are people that, and it's not everybody, by the way, because there is loads of people out there who are just picking up on things like, you know, I'll put that around my identity. I'll try and copy him or her, and there's so much fake. Okay, so many people fake because they're also on a stage in their journey. They're trying to find some happiness, so they go on a little course or something, or they pick and borrow and steal this stuff, and they put it together, and they reinvent themselves as something, and it's not really happening. I don't buy it. I don't believe them. Now, I hope they've also got their own magic and their own genius, but they haven't found it yet. They're searching amongst other people's stuff. But in there are the people that really are doing what they were sent here to do. And they're the ones that inspire me the most.
Paul, we talked about your challenges. Let's go into your greatest success. What was your greatest success, you would say?
The greatest success in business, right, since forget all the old stuff about all the money and all the power and crap and all that nonsense, right? The greatest success in business was after 6 months of starting up my own coaching business, which is basically me, right? Just me coaching. After 6 months, getting this award for Sales Coach of the Year thing, that was an incredible success. It was not expected. It was not a goal. It was not something that I had in mind. It was not chased. It came to me as a result of the serendipity that I described earlier. That was an incredible display from the universe of saying, you're doing the right thing here. That was a real endorsement that I was doing the right thing. So that was number 1. But actually, in terms of business result, and possibly the biggest success is landing what is now 3 permanent, full-time, high-level contracts to coach on Wall Street and in New York. And that has been in the back of my mind. It's been like a lifelong fantasy. I think I've manifested this one. I've always had a fascination with New York ever since I was a kid. The music scene and all the rest of it, the culture, the attitude, the grittiness of the city. I'm from Liverpool. That's a very similar city in so many ways. And when I first got into sales as a young man, the real motivational guys were the New York sales trainers, the New York traders, the New York, the energy and all that kind of stuff. It was a massive influencer on me. And despite the fact that I've now followed a different path that I've covered already, still, the idea of going to New York and taking my program, my sales method, my tactics, the way I coach, and taking that to Wall Street and taking that to New York and having people teach that and having that product established, not just once, but now permanently. And I work every day. That's what I do is, my afternoons and evenings, a few hours a day is spent going live to New York and coaching. That for me it's just awesome. That is for what forget the financial and all the rest of it. It's the realization of a lifetime ambition, and it really is, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest success I've had. And so much of that was achieved through, as I say, manifesting it, through affirming it, believing on a very deep level that I was worth it, not just wanting it or wishing, and taking all the appropriate actions to reach out slowly, but surely, consistently, day by day. And it came together. And it wasn't without its frustrations either.
It
Been a
never
lot of
is.
hard sprints. No, absolutely. But that's and if that's, even if that stopped today, I would have ticked all the goals that I ever have in business. They would be ticked.
Paul, why would you say you come up with your best ideas?
Shortly after meditation, in the gym. That'll often happen when I'm not thinking, when I'm not looking for ideas. If I sit down and try and intellectually think about ideas, I've got this board behind me, my whiteboard, and so when I actually stand there and say, right, ideas, they don't come. What comes is thinky stuff. What comes is schemes, strategies, flow charts. It's all bollocks. That's not inspiration. That's just methodology. Now, that's needed when you have your inspiration and you want to get it into the world and you want to set up systems to drive your marketing and your message and your sales and your income and all the rest of it. But actually, the ideas, they come when I'm not searching for them.
So, Paul, we're coming to the part where I really like giving as much value as we can to the listener. So my next question to you, as the person with a lot of experience and wisdom, will be: what top tips and three or five top tips and strategies you could give to the listener that they could implement in their entrepreneurial world?
Okay, right. First, let's say three. Okay, let's go for three. First one is, look, if you can relate to what I've said so far, okay, then you believe what I believe, you share some of the same values as me, then these tips could help you. Okay, first one is, don't try and create a product to make money. Don't try and come up with a scheme to buy this stuff, this scheme, add profit, make money, and don't do it for those reasons, because it will not be sustainable at an enjoyable level for very long. Because when the shit hits the fan, which it will every day, when your marketing doesn't work, when you get your clients start to come in and then they fall over and things cancel, when you're struggling to get established, when your cash flow isn't right, so many things. When things hit you, when problems hit you, there's nothing to fall back on. You're not really passionate about this at a deep level. It doesn't really mean something to you. It hasn't been a burning desire always in you. You don't enjoy doing this anyway. You wouldn't do it for free. That's the most important thing to start with. Do something that you're so passionate about that you do it all day long for free if money was no object. Do something that you love doing so much that it makes you forget about time when you do it. Do something that makes you feel so engaged and so present that it really is what you feel you were put here to do, and it's in the service of others. But to you, it's not like work, it's like play. Do that. Find a way to get paid to do something that you love to do, that it's like play. Find a way to get paid to play. That's number one. Because when things do hit your head on, it doesn't matter because you love doing this thing anyway. It's now just a case of turning it into money in the service of others. You'll survive it. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So that's number one. Number two is a very practical one, and that is find out and understand consistently the top level thinking from people who really know what they're talking about in the world when it comes to persuasion, the science of persuasion, so how the brain works. Right now, in this day and age, in this life right now, with the online and offline and the life that we live, right, the nature of life, understand the most up-to-date knowledge about how people buy, the trends for psychology, what makes people buy, what doesn't. Understand that at a very deep level. Okay, read the books, go to the seminars, the audios. There's so much stuff out there. Okay, don't stick with stuff that doesn't seem right. Be very careful who you buy off of that intelligence, that know-how, and understand at the deepest level how the brain it works, the psychology of selling, and how people are making decisions, how the best people are marketing, how the best people are selling. Understand that and learn about it. And by the way, it's never finished. It's never done because everything is changing. You have to stay on the pulse. So that's a real practical one. Build in some study time every day. So that's number two. And the third one, which I believe is really important, and it's a little bit more esoteric, but the first one was about choosing the right business for you at a deep level. The second one is a very practical one around to help you with strategy and understanding how you take your product and you get people to embrace it now at the right time for the right amount of money. Yeah. And the third one is about you. It's about your sustainability. It's about your inner and outer game. Understand the energetic nature of how you turn up to the world. Understand whether you're a day person or a night person. Understand when you're at your best energy. Understand when you're at your best and worst moods. Understand when you're best to be in front of people and when you're best not to be with people. Yeah, take care of your energy. Try and get some exercise. Try and do some introspection, whether it's meditation or reading or just going for a walk. Take care of your body, mind, and soul, your spirit, your emotions, your intellect, and your body. It's a whole thing. Just spend a little bit of time each day investing in that, and as a result, you will be more present. More presence means you will not miss these beautiful opportunities that are given to you if you're doing the right thing. And if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will be given opportunities each day, and you will notice them and you will get them if you are present. And you can only be present if your energetic presence is harmonized properly, which means diet, spirit, energy, sleep, all that stuff. It's so important. So what stuck with me is those three things that were at the heart of those very first seminars back in 2013 in London, which is the combination of practical sales excellence, real sharp sales excellence that cuts it and closes, combined with deeply true personal development, the real truth behind the law of attraction and manifestation, the real truth behind purpose, the real truth behind following our dream and motivation, the real truth behind that, and then underpinned by the energetic stuff and the spiritual stuff. The combination of those three, I find, is bulletproof. It's such a potent formula for fulfillment, for fulfillment and success in what you're doing. It's such a potent thing that I couldn't recommend anything more enthusiastically than those three things fused together.
Thank you for that, Paul, very much. So, Paul, did you come across any kind of resources that you could share with us?
I get the resources. I guess the things that are the most helpful, right, is if anybody who's listening likes what I've said, they've connected with what I've said so far, we share the same kind of values, then first thing is Simon Sinek. Okay, I don't care whether you've read it before or whatever, have another look. Simon Sinek, Sinek. This is the guy in the States who brought the idea to the world of start with why. Okay, audiobook stuff on YouTube. Take a look. See if it connects and resonates with your truth. That's number one. That's really powerful stuff. Second, on a very practical level, for people who want to be better at negotiation and selling in a way that absolutely works, there's a great book out right now by a guy called Chris Voss. And Chris Voss is a New Yorker. He's a former FBI hostage negotiator, right? So this guy spent decades, talking to terrorists who were in banks with guns, with live hostages, right? And he talked them down. And he brings in this book that's out now. It's called Never Split the Difference. So it's about how to negotiate like your life depended upon it. The techniques in there that he used in those situations can be absolutely applied to every sales, business related negotiation or challenge we have right now when we're trying to persuade, influence, negotiate. They can be applied straight away, instantly, workable, simple, powerful. It's really amazing stuff. Plus, it's great fun to read, listen to. So that can make an instant impact on your business. And then the third one is if you have not read The Power of Now. If anybody has not read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or listened to it on audiobook, get it in your life. And those would be the three resources that I would say. They're out there. You can get them pretty much for free right now. It's there. Take a look. And they'll probably, if you've got this far and you like what you hear and you've enjoyed this my little appearance here, if you've enjoyed it in any way, then you'll probably love those things, and they could add some real value to your life and your business right now. I hope they do.
You already done quite a bit, and you have a lot of personal achievements. What is next for you? What's your next goal, dream, aim? Where are you going? And if there is anything that we could help you, someone from the audience potentially could help you with, who would that be, and how could we help you?
What would I like to do? I want to be able to help more people without it costing me a whole bunch of time, because I've got a good life balance. So I'd love to actually do a podcast, or I'd love to collaborate with other people who resonate with this message, and maybe put something together where, there's maybe someone who's a real expert at the life stuff, and maybe someone who's a real expert at the marketing stuff, and actually come together to put something together for a new start entrepreneur right now. Something that's really valuable, really practical, really current, inspirational, something that works, something that's really affordable or available for free. I'd love to be able to collaborate on something like that and contribute to something like that, where people, just ordinary people right now in either the USA or in London or whatever, we're here, you're in London, I'm in Liverpool, people in the UK who want to start doing something they love. They want to get paid for it. They want to live a more fulfilled life. They want to be a preneur of some kind. If they've got that dream, they want to turn their passion into money in the service of others. I'd love to be part of a little group that help them do this and make the know-how and the coaching or whatever it is really available to a lot of people at low or zero cost. That would be fulfilling.
Thanks for sharing with us that, Paul.
Okay.
We are coming to the end of our interview, but before we say our goodbyes, is there anything else you would like to share or advise on today?
No, I just want to say thank you. It's been great, actually, Svetlana. Um, really, really good to be able to come on and contribute. I just hope there's something in there that is of actual lasting value to anybody in your community.
That's great. Paul, how can we find you if someone wants to get in touch? What's the best way to find you?
Website's the simplest, stresslesssales.com. There's a whole load of stuff on there, blogs and downloads and bits and pieces, which is all there. Go in there and take it. There's a contact form, then there's my Twitter. So there's all that stuff there, stresslesssales.com.
Amazing.
And if anyone wants us to reach out or ask any questions or whatever, I'll get back to them. Might take a few days or whatever. But if people want to reach out and ask anything in confidence, they can go over there and do so.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thanks for sparing a bit of your time with us and for all the great advice. It's really great having you on the show, and hopefully we can catch up sometime soon again.
It's a pleasure. The thing I'm most grateful for in life right now is that my little story, my little slice of experience in my little world could be of value to someone else who has challenges right now. The fact that could be helpful to someone else in any way is something I'm really grateful for, and that is what truly inspires me. So thanks for the opportunity to see if that's the case. Thank you. And I'd love feedback. That's what I'd love the most, is feedback from people who either say, I like that, or I didn't like that, or, feedback is awesome. Whatever shape it's in, I love to hear what people feel and think about what they've heard.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Paul. We'll see you
Okay.
soon.
Thanks, Svetlana. Thank you.